over my dead body. That was the refrain of a family member over the suggestion that her 1-year-old get vaccinated. And I'm not at all happy about it. And let me be clear, I'm not suggesting that the boy be injected with the mRNA therapy being pimped out by the Biden administration and the corporate media on behalf of Pfizer. I am advocating vaccines for polio, for mumps, for measles. I believe that vaccinations are one of the greatest innovations in human history. It's pure elegance. You introduce a dead or attenuated pathogen to the body so that it will be recognized and dealt with by the immune system when an active one invades. So why do you think that there might be a change of heart in the population? Why is this specific mom insisting on a 25-mile buffer zone between her son and any potential needle, thus unfortunately possibly making him susceptible to really horrific diseases that have previously been almost entirely eradicated from humanity, which, with the increased vaccine hesitancy created around the world, we're sadly likely to see a comeback of said diseases that will once again begin to proliferate. I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I hope that wherever you are, ask yourself the following. Is it possible that similar logic will affect the vaccination decisions of many, many, many other parents around the globe? And have our public health officials served us, the public, and emboldened faith in their judgment, or have they been able to create massive amounts of doubt, like that which is currently afflicting this mommy? To begin with, the authorities have lied and censored the public from the start. They dictated the terms of the discussion. They did their darndest to demonize anyone who possibly might postulate an alternative viewpoint, down to the idea that perhaps, just maybe, the virus might have escaped from the Wuhan laboratory, an idea which they called both racist and a conspiracy theory. Why? Was it because Donald Trump suggested the possibility, so reflexively it had to be opposed because, politics over reality? Or was it to cover their own asses for likely having funded the gain of function research? My bet, probably a combination of the two, along with other things. But to the powers that be, they did all they could to shut down any alternative viewpoint. Take the Great Barrington Declaration, signed by many medical experts, including a Nobel Prize winner, which questioned the harsh reality of the lockdowns and favored a policy that they called focused protection of high-risk populations such as the elderly or those with pre-existing medical conditions. In response to this seemingly reasonable suggestion, Fauci's boss, Dr. Collins, wrote in an email that was discovered in a Freedom of Information request. This proposal from the three fringe epidemiologists seems to be getting a lot of attention and even a co-signature from Nobel winner Mike Levitt at Stanford. There needs to be a quick and devastating published takedown of its premises. Is it underway? To you out there, is that science? Is that the discussion of ideas, or is that the top-down smashing of hypotheses that are ruining the careers of your intellectual opponents because you have the whole media apparatus in your hands? And now that said email has emerged, and Dr. Fauci, Dr. Collins, and everybody with this viewpoint was proven absolutely wrong. Do you want me to continue to trust everything that you say, to believe that you have our best interests at heart? Meanwhile, as the mRNA vaccine was being released, I personally was given a strike by YouTube for medical misinformation. My video was taken down for stating that the vaccine was so narrowly targeted to the specific spike protein of the COVID-19 virus that it would inevitably, the virus, mutate to get around whatever protection might be being offered at first. This is in stark contrast to the polio vaccine, where the body's immune system gets to build a blueprint of the whole organism. Thus, small mutations might still not be enough to go through the body's defense system. So, where is my apology for me being struck down when time has proven me correct?
You're always telling me and Bart to apologize.
Yeah, but I'm always secretly disappointed when you do.
And even after there were breakthrough cases, Joe Biden assured you that if you took the vaccine, you wouldn't get COVID. He guaranteed you, the public, of that fact that it worked. Of course, the NPCs, the Democrats, they deny this. No, he never said that. But here, my friends, is your receipt.
The various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Yeah.
Well, Joey. Wrong again, and all of you who supported him. But on a personal level, as a dementia patient perhaps, there might be some forgiveness for the man. But then they went ahead and they shut down the entire economy, specifically, and I mean specifically, in all of those blue states. They shut down the small businesses. They denied them the ability to earn a living, while allowing major corporations like Costco, Walmart, Amazon to serve customers, transferring the clients that mom and pop stores built over the years through hard and laborious labor. You transfer that. How is that not big business interest getting a frickin' blowjob from the government at the expense and being paid for by you, the taxpayer, and specifically those small businesses that they put under? And many of these blue jurisdictions insisted that school children stay masked forever. That is, if you even allowed them to attend school in person, which, at the behest of the teachers' unions who used the pandemic as an excuse not to work, and you condemned Michiganders protesting the fact that they weren't even allowed to buy seeds to plant their own garden in some World Economic Forum conspiracy to take away your ability to provide for yourself. And also these people that were protesting at the state's capitol that their rights were being taken away. You called them medical terrorists as they peaceably marched upon the state's capitol. But you approved of Black Lives Matter protests with 1,000 times more people packed into ultra-tight spaces. And you called them necessary. And you want me and others to believe that it was purely about the science. Look, all that creates massive amounts of doubt, and understandably so. The corruption of the woke ideologies upon our institutions are driving them into absolute irrelevancy. Worse, again, why should anybody trust them? But a question perhaps more germane to the conversation: do the vaccines even work? To answer, you had to go in and change the definition in the dictionary last year in order to keep the COVID vaccine treatment in line with the dictionary definition. But even after assuring us that we wouldn't catch the disease, proven wrong, of course, you continued to implore us that the reason to take it, even if you were a daredevil who jumps out of airplanes without a frickin' parachute, at least take it to prevent transmission to grandma. Well, it turns out that taking it doesn't prevent transmission. You can have an all-vaccinated party and still pass around COVID. So what exactly have the authorities been right about? It's also impossible to ignore the number of young athletes that are dropping dead or having an on-field cardiac arrest? Do you, anybody, really, leave it in the comments. Do you ever remember hearing about it or hearing about it so frequently if you do have an instance? And the authorities assure us it's rarely going to be vaccine related. As I mentioned earlier, even if that's true, how many of you out there has reasonably lost trust with them? Then, amongst numerous other facts, you had Pfizer wanting to hide their data for the next 75 years before being overruled by the judge. What exactly are you hiding? Do you think that this breeds trust or doubt? And just to, on a personal level, a large part of the reason that I wasn't jumping up and down to take the vaccine, despite previously having told you that I think that they are one of the greatest inventions in human history, is the fact that a new and novel product that had never been in existence before was deemed to be safe by the authorities. And if vaccine injury is truly rare, how many of you out there know someone personally who has been negatively affected after having had the injection? I personally know 4 people, and that's without thinking about it too hard and asking too many. How many do y'all know? But, it's a new delivery system going into a complex system, which is the human body. And yet you can tell me for absolute certain that it's safe. What that sounds like is marketing. And right now, Pfizer and Moderna are attempting to get the COVID vax on the school mandated list. And who can blame them, frankly, aside of the increased profits that they will generate from all the podcasts that I have listened to. Once they are approved for such, the companies gain total immunity from lawsuits. So guess what? It's in their financial best interest to do so. But do they help the kids who seem almost immune to the predations of the disease? And you can certainly make a case that the drug companies are acting completely rationally by trying to maximize their profits. These are soulless corporations, and I can understand that. But what about the corrupt actors that are censoring people that dare to even question the policies of mandating it for kids? And are they unable to see the writing on the wall, the obvious data that is before them? Or are they swayed by the propaganda? Or are they in fact in the pharmaceutical companies' pockets? So tell me, who can really blame concerned mothers for hearing all the continual lies, the broken promises, and seeing the shifting goalposts, who then subsequently are asked to put their flesh and blood that they painfully birthed and breastfed, for them having doubts, for not wanting to put their children at risk for a jab that only seems to be showing increasing harm in those who have taken it and provides literally no benefit to their children. And as long as you are changing the definition of vaccine, even as I tout the wonders that Jonas Salk brought to this world, who can blame them for conflating your presumed poison for children with all the other vaccines and their hesitation to give them immunity to measles, mumps, rubella, pertussis, polio? And I don't even have to agree with her to understand her fears. And for that, I blame your dishonesty, your censorship, your greed. You won't even allow discussion of the ideas. You want to just demonize anybody who dares to think differently from you, like Dr. Callens and Dr. Fauci did with the Great Barrington Declaration. And you have been wrong, and wrong. And you wonder why moms are losing faith in the institutions and specifically the healthcare/medical industry. And even if I disagree with her, I put the blame squarely upon you, the pharmaceutical industry, and the politicians that have been bought by them, or have swallowed their pills of propaganda, hook, line, and sinker. And by now, it's very clear why. And if any harm befalls this boy, then I will be coming after you with all my might and strength, and much more than just words.